Fine. So you see, I have already discussed about convection. We have discussed about radiative diffusion previously, and we have obtained the fourth equation of stellar structure from radiative diffusion. Then afterwards we talked about convective instability. So the situation was very similar when we fill air in a balloon and put the balloon, trying to dip it inside a bucket of water. So what happens is that you automatically know you have to do a lot of work to press the balloon in the bucket of water, and the reason is that the air inside the balloon, it has got lesser density compared to the surrounding water in the bucket, and as a result it pushes up, force of buoyancy, right? The same thing will happen. And what convection is basically instability, where the inside medium will be less dense than your surrounding medium, and as a result it will keep on moving against your gravity. Gravity is going down. So this is basically convective instability. And we discussed the Schwarzschild stability condition regarding this, right? And in my previous class I just told you that this is basically the Schwarzschild stability condition rated in terms of DSDR, entropy and distance R. Now the same Schwarzschild condition for convective instability, it can be again rewritten in terms of temperature gradient, and this you will get this type of inequality. So the inequality is dTdr must be less than your adiabatic dTdr. Temperature gradient actual should be less than your adiabatic temperature gradient. And what is the value of the adiabatic temperature gradient? This is the value of the adiabatic temperature gradient, where gamma is adiabatic index, gamma minus 1 by gamma d by p dPdr. So now remember that these two terms are negative, right? As we go inside, temperature increases. Since they are negative, we have to take absolute values, and so this is the actual positive quantity over here, and this is the relation. The same thing you can write in an alternative way regarding logarithm of pressure and logarithm of temperature, and this is the relation. The same Schwarzschild convective instability condition. Now, what we want to do, so we know these things. Fine, this is given. This we have done. Now, what we want to do is we want to just observe this expression right now, this expression, and then we want to find where the convection will become important in star. Now, in this part of the diagram, you are seeing only part of the real story, only a very small part. Now, first, let us consider this term, which is being multiplied to T by P dPdr. What is that? Gamma minus 1 by gamma. Now, what is gamma? As I told you, so we will be considering this term right now. So, gamma is adiabatic index, which is defined by Cp by Cv, and this is basically equal to 1 plus S by 2 divided by S by 2, where S is the number of degrees of freedom. Okay. Now, for particle carrying energy half kg. For a monoatomic gas, S is equal to 3, gamma is 5 by 3, and this condition here, the alternative form, it becomes like this. So this is fine. But we are not always going to talk about the monoatomic gas in stars, right? There are several occasions where the internal degrees of freedom can increase. So what are they? The occasion can be ionization of atom. The occasion can be dissociation of molecule, and also exciting the rotational and vibrational modes in the molecule. So these three occasions can in fact increase your degrees of freedom, right? So S can increase. So now let's see what happens as a result. So you see this expression, if S increases, effectively gamma will decrease. So let's make a limit. Suppose, let us find the value of gamma for S tending to infinity. You can check this yourself. This is very trivial. Okay. So tends to 1. Now look at this term over here. This is what we wanted to discuss, right? So you see, as S tends to infinity, surprisingly this tends to 0. And what does this mean? This means that this entire term, which is basically dt dr adiabatic, this goes to 0, right? And the condition for convection was just this thing. The actual temperature gradient must be greater than the adiabatic gradient. Now, if the degrees of freedom become very high, then all of a sudden this will go to very small values. And so automatically the condition will be satisfied and convection will set in. It will start. Okay. So you see, increase in degrees of freedom makes convection easier to fulfill, even if your ddr is small. Okay. Any questions? Follow? What will happen after convection sets in? Basically, once convection sets in, it will mix the different layers. Convection he correct. What happens in convection? There is actual heat flux moving up. Remember, suppose this is a star, okay, and suppose in this, between these two layers, suppose there is convection. This and this, I am just considering. Now what will happen is that the heat is being flown outward. Okay, so there is a net heat flux outward, but no mass flux, because mass is being interchanged. So no mass flux, only heat flux outward. So as a result of this, what will happen? There will be mixing between the different layers. Now remember, just now I talked about the hydrogen shell burning. So what happens in the hydrogen shell burning? The hydrogen will be just burning in the shell surrounding the core. And if there is convection, what will happen? The results of the hydrogen shell burning, helium, it will be transported immediately near the surface, and you will see helium spectra. You will be able to see. Understand? And this has been experimentally observed. So this gives you an indirect evidence that there is indeed, you will see more helium spectra compared to normal, and this is an indirect evidence of convection. There are many more evidences. So once convection sets in, it basically mixes the materials at different radii and it works towards equilibrating temperature. That means what it will do is it will try to overall decrease the temperature gradient. This is what it will do. So now we have talked about only the first part. Now we will talk about the other part of the story. Okay, so you see, I have just discussed when convection becomes important, and we saw that it can become important in scenarios where the degrees of freedom is very large. We discussed about three possibilities: ionization, excitation of atom, again dissociation of molecule, and the third one was exciting the rotational and vibrational modes in molecules. So this means that convection occurs in cooled regions of star, right, where atoms and molecules are present. So this is important. So our previous discussion told us that it is important in cool regions of star where atoms and molecules exist. Okay, so this is important. Next, you see, so what are the possibilities? One is the core of massive star. Okay, another is outer regions of intermediate main sequence stars and red giants. These are the two possibilities. Now, this was the first part of our story. Now, what I am going to do next? So, this is our basic condition. DTDR must be greater than DTDR adiabatic. Now, I am going to compare convection with radiation. When convection happens, when radiation happens. So if I want to do the comparison, I am going to replace this DTDR with radiative diffusion expression, DTDR. So this is the expression, and this is our usual DTDR from adiabatic case, and this is I am saying that convection will not happen until this limit is set in. So radiative diffusion will not become the dominant mechanism for heat transfer if your temperature gradient reaches this critical value, and this is the critical value. So I am naming it DTDR convection. Now, so for convection, this condition is required. I am just putting away some other constants, and this DPDR you can use your equation of hydrostatic equilibrium to put over there. But anyway, even from just this expression only, you can get a rough idea of when the convection becomes important. Number one, you see kappa, when kappa becomes large. And number two, when this L by 4 pi r square, that means flux, basically flux, L by 4 pi r square, remember this is flux. So when kappa becomes large or when the flux becomes large. So there can be two such possibilities, and in both these possibilities the convection will happen. Now this is irrespective of your discussion regarding the degrees of freedom. So we have got three scenarios. One is your degrees of freedom discussion, which we did previously, and now I am saying that there are other two possibilities using just this condition where your convection will become important. So let me look at the first possibility. So large values of kappa, very large opacity. Now this means that convection occurs in opaque regions of star. Large kappa means large absorption. That means opaque region of star. And where can we have opaque regions? So this is basically happens in outer layers of cooler stars. So this occurs in outer layers of cooler stars like Sun and red giants. And as a result, we have absorption driven or opacity driven convection in the surface layers. Remember, this happens in the surface layers. This absorption driven or opacity driven convection in surface layers. Fine. What's the next one? The next one is your flux. Flux will be very high. If flux is very high, then convection becomes important. Now, where can be flux very high? কোথায় বেশি হতে পারে? Where all of a sudden you see very high energy is there. When can this happen? All of a sudden very high energy. You remember just hydrogen burning, you consider PP chain hydrogen burning, that energy generation rate was proportional to T to the power 4. But for higher mass stars, CNO becomes important, and that is their energy generation rate at that time becomes to the power 17 or to the power 19 for some reaction. So this means that the energy generation rate then becomes very high. Okay. So in central regions of massive main sequence stars, more than 1.2 solar mass, basically, most of the energy produced will be by CNO cycle, right? We discussed previously, and this has since this has very strong temperature dependence, what will happen is that the temperature dependence is very high. So this means there will be very high temperature zone, but remember this temperature will slowly fall down with radius outward, and as a result what will happen, the energy generation rate will fall very rapidly. So in the very center, very core part, because of CNO cycle, the energy generation rate will be very high, temperature will be very high, but it falls off very rapidly towards the outer part, and as a result the energy generation rate will also fall off. And what will happen as a result is that there is a very small energy generating zone as a result of this, a very small energy generating zone. And there convection becomes important. And this is what we mean by radiation driven or flux driven convection. So basically all of the energy is produced in the very central part of this star, very central core part. Radius you can assume less than 10% of the entire radius of the star. So this much small I am saying. And you see this, so what is this? This R is small, L is very large, so flux is very large. So in the small part, huge flux, and that causes the core of very massive stars to become convective. Right. So these are the three very important topics, or three important scenarios when your convection becomes important. Any questions?